Ice cream, logical cream, flavors.
Let's make a move, get away, what's your flavor? Tell me what it is again. What you like, get it twice, what's your style? Let's get crazy, let's get lit, let's get wild. Take you out, show you off, what's your flavor? Tell me what it is again. Anywhere in the world, take it mild. Show me the real, you go and let it out.
Your flavor, vanilla mix on brown cones, rainbow sprinkles on your AP two-tone. I ain't about materials, it's habitual for the inventor to get spiritual. I ridicule your decisions in the specimen. Make God like me, had to step up, be the better man. Baby, I know your flavor, green apple colored gators. I ain't a rich man yet, I'm gathering data. I'm saying.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Connie. We hit back here on 95 South TV once again. First and foremost, want to thank God for this opportunity to come on here glorious Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying? I want to introduce my right hand man himself, my man King Jacob in the building. What's going on, fam?
What up, man? I'm glad to be in the land of the living. What's happening?
What's going on? So basically, what I was talking about before, and I'm gonna get right back into it, and probably got to start off from scratch what I was talking about. But what I was talking about was church and pastor, basically church and pastor accountability. And I feel like it was on my spirit this morning to talk about it in the light of just what happened with T.D. Jakes, and not just him, but he's just a global example of something that happened. And I remember when this whole thing started to come out earlier this year and last year about T.D. Jakes being involved with Diddy and involved in homosexual activities and things of that nature. And I've seen a lot of people online basically trying to take up for and basically not holding him accountable. And I seen it with T.D. Jakes. I seen it with Eddie Long years ago when he was molesting the kids. I seen it then. And a lot of the people, those members, wasn't holding these people accountable. And my thinking was, and I've talked to several people about this, and I said, my biggest problem with this is, what's the whole point of having pastors and leaders if we're not going to hold them accountable? Because if you're on a job, if you're a restaurant manager, if you're a president of a bank, if you are a leader of a team, a captain of a team, basketball, football, whatever it is, you're held at a higher standard than the employee or the people that's under you. So when I'm in the restaurant business, my accountability was the restaurant needs to be clean. The numbers, we need to get this food out on time, and the numbers was right. I had to be right. Even when I wasn't a manager, when I was working at Outback Steakhouse, I worked a position called makeup. Makeup in a restaurant setting in Outback was basically almost almost like being a manager without being a manager. That you're running the whole line. You're the quarterback of the line. You're making sure all the food is going out right. The plates are looking clean, presentable. You're barking out orders to everybody. So when things don't go right and the food is not getting put out right, you're held accountable. So my thinking is, if you're looking at pastors and you're looking at head people that run churches, if they're not held accountable, if you're just going to say, well, everybody's allowed to make mistakes. We're all human. But at the end of the day, when you're a pastor like a T.D. Jakes, or Eddie Long, these high-profile pastors, or if you're a pastor of any church, I don't care if it's a church in the hood with 20 members, if I can't look at you as a pastor and look at you as being a leader of me, a leader of the church in the proper way, then what am I here for? So that means if I'm gonna look at you like I'm gonna look at myself, let's say I'm an alcoholic, and if I go out to the bar, well, Pastor, you want to come to the bar with me after we leave church today? If I'm gonna look at you the same way I look at everybody else, because that's what people are telling us to do with T.D. Jakes. Oh, well, he a man, he just made mistakes. Well, he a man, but look how many people follow T.D. Jakes. Millions of people follow T.D. Jakes. So this is what y'all want to follow? Y'all want to follow a man allegedly that's doing the things he's doing? That's what we doing now. You know what I'm saying? So what's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts, and this is only for black and brown people. My thoughts that black and brown people are so quick to throw people away. If they hear something, they throw them away. If it's a rumor started, they throw them away. They don't even know the full truth of scenarios. They throw them away. I ain't saying he guilty or he innocent. All I'm saying, it ain't look good for him to be at a Diddy party. You know what I mean? You know, as you're walking in that straight and narrow, and you're a man of the clergy, it's certain things you can't do. It's certain people. I feel it's certain people you shouldn't be around. That's that's just my thoughts. You know what I mean? Now, a person asks you to pray for them. If that's just what it is, that's what you do. You pray for them and you leave. But as far as you hanging out with somebody who's got this awful history of what they've done throughout their life in the music industry, you know, and just cause he wrote you a check for $1 million, don't mean you got to sell your soul 1 million times. How about that? You know what I mean? So, and with people following pastors, you got to be very careful who you let inside your spirit. You know, you got to be very careful who you let preach upon you or preach on you or preach on top of you. Um, um, you got to be very careful of 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 the people that you let in, how the people that you might let in to interrupt your spiritual awakening. So it's certain things that you do have to be careful about, you know. Um, and it's a process, you know. Being being a Christian, a man or woman of God is not something that happened overnight. It's a continuous process, you know. And with that process, man, there's going to be some stumbles in the road, trials and tribulations. There's going to be some hardships. There's going to be some mishaps. But you got to understand, you know, man, Rome wasn't built in a day and don't nothing happen overnight. Cause Noah definitely built his ark in one day. You know what I'm talking about? You know, Moses ain't come to depart the Red Sea. Oh, I'm woke up one morning. Oh, he want me to part the Red Sea. It was a process, and
Mhm.
and it's a process for your faith to get strong, and it's a even bigger process for you to reach that journey of where you know that your your salvation is anointed and covered. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Uh, you know, the soul is something that's so sacred, man. People say protect my peace, man. You ain't gonna have no peace if your soul ain't protected. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just like the situation, you know, many situations, man, where the pastor always live fact. You know, and the congregation struggles. Don't even have a nonprofit in the church to help the congregation if they want, even if they are getting the grant money, the members know nothing about it. You know, any money that comes above the church, you know, the church body should know about that money. You know, it should be in conversation on what this money is going and why it's going to help the church, whether it's the building fund, whether it's through the Sunday school board of education, whether it's through the usher board union, whether it's through you know the missionary conference. How is this benefiting the church? Not just how is this going to benefit the pastor.
Well, it's funny you say that because I think that you have pastors who refuse to share with the members where the money is going. So it's like you ask every week for people to pay their tithes and offering, but not saying where that money is being allocated to. So you feel like you're the only person in there that has the authority to to say where the money going. And those type of churches, you're not gonna have loyal members if your members don't understand where you're putting the money. Okay, we know you got to pay the bills, but other than outside of paying the bills, then what else are you doing with this money? Where because you're not gonna just think about regular people. A lot of times with people, you're not gonna just keep having people just give tithes and offering just because making them feel guilty of saying, well, it's part of the bill. It's in the Bible that you're supposed to pay tithes and offering. Well, it's a lot of things in the Bible that people do, and some people do, and some people don't do. It's a lot of things in the Bible because some pastors, like I've had pastors where all their sermons was based on tithes and offering. That's every sermon was based on that. So some pastors have themes in their church where they might talk about things that salvation and adultery and things of that nature. So it just all depends on where they go. from week to week. I don't necessarily believe pastors always do stuff out of spiritual, out of what God give them. I think sometimes they're human. So God, sometimes say do things, does things that's basically on their heart, not necessarily what God put on their heart. But I'm gonna come right back. We'll be right back here on 95 South TV. Okay, we back here on 95 TV. And I know, brother, I've been through a lot when it comes to church life. You know, I've been through a lot of different scenarios in church. And the one thing that I've been through the cult churches, I've been through the churches where we have revivals every week. I went to church in Florida. We had a revival every single weekend. And you think I'm playing. We had a revival every single weekend. And sometimes they would like start doing the week. Like they might start, we would have revival, but they might be Monday through Sunday or Saturday or whatever it was, and the revivals would go to 11, 12 o'clock at night. I remember my kids would be sleeping in the church, in the back of the church chairs, because at the time, the church I went to in Florida, we only had maybe about 10 members, 10 or 15. We didn't have a lot. So we had, the only way they could keep the church doors open was always invite these other churches in to have these revivals. And, but then those churches where it ended up being, they started back their own members on a daily basis. So I don't mind being rebuked, you know what I mean, at times. But certain things I just feel like pastors can't rebuke, or you can rebuke every member of your church in front of the world, in front of the congregation. Being a leader of a church, one thing you got to understand how to handle everybody different. You can't dictate with one way. You know what I'm saying? It's not being a parent where whatever you like, how we grew up, however your mom was, grandmother, whoever was, your dad, how they dictated, if they want to beat all of y'all out, then that's what it was. But
so I can with that being said, man, you've been you've been through some rigor and more of, the church, and a lot of things happen behind the scene that people may not see in the church because they still smile on your face. You still treat people the same. You ain't really changed your characteristics or nothing like that. But the depression, how can we say it? Spiritual depression is real. And how does one go get counseling for spiritual depression? Because it's not like you can just go see a regular psychologist or a regular therapist. Not going to be able to accommodate your emotional and your spiritual mind process. So you say. So we would say the spiritual mind. And so how does one get counseling for that? Because normally, if you talk to another pastor about it, most pastors take up for pastors. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I think that a person that's in the streets doing ministry, like what we call the street ministry, I think they will understand you more if you're going through something like that. Because when you get a felony, they look down on you. They scandalize not your name, but your family's name as well. And so they can reason with you from the side of spiritual depression. Like I heard the rapper Lil Craig said the church turned their back on him when he started rapping and was rapping for God. They called that, devil's music with a twist of secular that's coming into the church. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, man, how do somebody get through spiritual depression?
Well, first and foremost, I think my biggest thing, what I had to learn, I had my own relationship with God. And because for so long, I was dependent on man, which was a pastor, whether it was a deacon in my church, to kind of guide me in whatever they told me was gospel to me. So whatever that pastor told me, whatever that deacon told me, gospel. So what happened in that process, I kind of lost who I was. Because the thing about one thing I learned about the Bible and the way God used, he never really asked the people that he used to change who they were. He didn't necessarily ask them to change. When I mean by change, I'm not talking about the sins of I mean the personality of the person or the who they were as a person. He never asked that. He just asked them to follow me in whatever I tell you, do what I tell you to do. You know what I mean? Or whatever, be obedient to me. He asked more for obedience than he asked for you to change as far as who you were, because he knew who you were. That's why he chose you to do certain things, because he like, I know what's inside of you, and I can use that to accomplish this. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I actually lost who I was, and I would walk around on eggshells. Like when the church I went to with the female pastor, it got so bad with her because she was a prophet. And I ain't gonna lie, prophetess is one thing that was tricky about people as prophets. Like a prophet can be one of those good prophets or those bad prophets. Think about a person that when you go to a psychic is really, it's like a church. It's the same, no different than a church prophet. They just use it in a different way than a spiritual prophet. They just use it in a different way to make money off of it. And she knew how to manipulate it because she was a prophet, because she wasn't a good sermon person. She wasn't a good person to get up there and be a sermon, like give you a good sermon. She'll give you a 10, 15-minute sermon, and then she's going to go to prophesy the rest of the time in church. And she knew that. So she like, once I'm gonna bring up a topic, talk about that topic for 15 minutes, and now I'm going to start laying hands on people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so caught up. Even when I'm home, every little thing I'm doing, everything I'm saying, how I move, I'm thinking, by the time I get to church, she gonna call me out because she gonna realize what I did Monday through Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So once I finally understood, I can't put all my dedication and all my things pastor to say, you in charge of my feelings, you in charge of my emotions, spirituality. When I got away from that, I kind of better understand how to maneuver. And I be honest with you, I couldn't tell you who to go to when you go through those moments. Only thing I can tell you is you find somebody who you know for sure is God and led that life to that certain degree, even if they go to your church. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, you might not can go to another pastor because another pastor gonna take up for other pastors. But you might have that old lady in the neighborhood, that older man in the neighborhood that you can go to. The one thing about the one church I went to years ago, the older men in the church were my mentors. So they didn't necessarily always have to say it. It was the way I seen how they moved. And to me, it was two kind of men. It was the men who were sold out, whatever you seen in church, what you got out of church. You seen the same thing no matter what. Then you got them guys who they were the same, but in church and out of church, they was off the chain just as much, but they were. I'd rather you keep it real. I'd rather, if whatever I see in church, I have deacons and stuff in church with cursing in the back be cursing or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or still smoke cigarettes or whatever, but they were real men. In church, oh, they're holier than thou, and then you get home, you drinking, smoking, and doing whatever, you know what I mean, or whatever. So, my pastor at the time told us straight up one time. He said, "Ain't nothing having a bishop, but you getting drunk." Now this is what the bishop said. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like you know.
But hold, stop it right there, man. Leave right there for a minute. Listen, leave right there for a minute. You know what? I can respect that so much, right? You know why I can respect that? Because people think just because you are saved or you dissing your dad, and they just really think that you're supposed to cut everything out cold turkey. It don't say that in the Bible. It says you're supposed to repent daily.
Mm-hmm.
Repentance is a must. That's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to repent daily. And so if you can repent daily, then, you know, you recognize that you need to be forgiven for your sins daily. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and for those who that repent only when something going bad, God ain't cool with that.
No, 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 no. Well,
You know, he's a merciful God, but he's also the type of God that hold the saints accountable. You know what I
yeah.
mean? You know, so with that being said, and the reason why I brought that question up about the spiritual depression is
Well, before you
because
go on, quick break, and we'll be right
oh,
back. And
okay.
okay, we back. We back here on 95 South. Go on with your your question.
Okay, so the reason why I brought the spiritual depression up, because there's so many people that go through it, especially in the black church.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many people that go through it, but you and I never know it because that's something they take to their grave.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be looked at as the bad apple in the church, or they don't want to be looked at as the person who tore the church up per se. And
Mm-hmm.
so they take stuff like that to their grave. So I'm glad we spoke about that, man, because it definitely happens a lot. You know, spiritual depression and religious damaging happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then why do we have to have all these different denominations of churches? Why everybody get blessed by God, whether you black, yellow, green, purple, whatever you are? Why we all can't go to church together? You know what I mean? Why it just can't be one body? You know, under a worship place.
Well, I've talked to you about this before, and I've talked to other people about this before. I have a unique childhood when it comes to certain things. I grew up. My mom was a Baptist. My granddad was a Methodist. My grandma was a practicing Jehovah's Witness. And what I mean by practicing, she didn't join. She didn't become a actual member until like 2-3 years before she died. So the whole time she went to Jehovah's Witness meetings religiously, but she didn't become an active member until actually a full blown member till like a few years before she died. So we talk about probably 35, 40 years of going to these services. And then it was times where she would bash them and talk crazy because of certain things she didn't like what they were doing. Because my grandmother, she was one of the people, she read all. She read King James, she read their version, she read different versions, so she understood all of them. And to me, I think that's what kind of turned me off about religion. I don't believe in religion. I don't bash nobody who does. I don't look at down on you if you're a Catholic, a Jew, whatever. I don't care. Whatever makes you your boat float, and whatever makes you become as long as you're a good person, whatever you are. Now, if religion has called you to be a bad person, then you might want to find a new religion. Just like if you look like that, and when people talk bad about Muslims, you know what I'm saying? When you being a bad person, got nothing to do with being a Muslim. It got to do you are just bad. You know what I'm saying? So, but you need to find a new religion. If you look at things in the Muslim world, that as I can go out and kill people, then you might need to find something else, another way to move. But I will say this: when I talk about Jehovah's Witnesses, and I told this story a couple of times. And one of my good friends' mother got pregnant out of wedlock. And in Jehovah's Witness world, certain sins, if you commit certain sins, they ostracize you. You can't have any communication with the members for like a year. So they would not allow her to have membership, go to the hall meetings, and have she could basically the members couldn't talk to her for a whole year. And I said, well, would Jesus do that? So if Jesus would do that, why do you think you can do that? And then one other thing that really turned me up years later, when my grandmother passed. Grandmother passed, we at the funeral, or whatever. The deacon, which I've known the guy for years. He was my teacher in high school, real good guy. You know what I'm saying? And he was up there, and they die that the
That what?
person when they believe when you die, the person doesn't come back in spirit. That basically when they say that basically you're dead until judgment day, that's what Jehovah's Witnesses believe. They don't believe like of you if you're like when your father passed. They don't believe like your father could come back in your spirit, your father could come visit, or none of that. None of that. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, I thought it wasn't the time for him to do that at the funeral, because some people need to hold on to something to
But
keep their.
that's not. But that's not true. They didn't know what they're talking about. Because I can tell you what I've seen. I can tell you that. You know what I mean? And that's a fact. You know what I mean? So I hear people say stuff like that all the time. But who are you to say that? You don't know the type of anointings that this person is covered with, or you don't know is God using that person that passed away as an angel to warn someone else that they love. This can happen, but don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. I'm here for you. Things like that happen all the time. So for a deacon or a pastor to tell somebody that you can't see somebody in a spirit, that's awfully wrong.
Yeah, and I thought it was wrong because at the time, you know how it is. Some people need that comfort. Some people need to think that, even if it's true, false, whatever. Some people need to believe that I can see my mother, I can see my dad, I can see my brother, sister, and they're with me all the time. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me grounded from going crazy. If you put in somebody's spirit and put in somebody's mind that once that person is dead, that's it, then a lot of people will go crazy if they really think that there's no way this person is ever going to have. Like for me, I have dreams about my grandmother all the time. Now in the dream, of course, she's not saying anything. Most times she's just doing something in the dream, whether it's always in the kitchen, because my grandma was always in the kitchen or something, cleaning up, doing something, or in the yard. So most time when I see my grandmother in dreams, she's always in the kitchen doing something. So to me, that's what, that's kind of how I talk to still have a connection with my grandmother, is because of that, because of me seeing her in my dreams. You know, but like I said, so to me, I just feel like it comes to certain things in the spiritual world, what I mean, it just need to be a better. I think at this that like it needs to be a better accountability. It needs to be more interaction with the neighborhood and with the community. You can't be in somebody's community and you don't touch the lives of the people in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make any sense to me, because church. Some pastors will talk about the church just being a building. It's not what church is. It's just where you hold church. But the building is the building. But the church is out in the world. Church is wherever you have it. Me and you could have a church right now. If you think about it, what we talking about. Church is wherever you having church is. That's where what they say is two more together in agreement. That's basically church. If two people basically talking about God and whatever in a spiritual world, that's church. You know what I'm saying? If me and you was riding down the road right now, listening to some gospel music, and we getting all into it and having a good time, we having church. You know what I'm saying? Especially we get in there, get to crying and boo-hooing and snotting and all kind of stuff coming out, and we confessing all kind of stuff and talking about what we going through. That's church.
Right.
So, but a lot of times churches, they just want to deal with the people in that four wall. That's why when people do stuff that's out of character of God, they ostracize them. They remove themselves instead of bringing in more. When that little girl gets pregnant at 16, why you gonna put her at the door? Bring her in. When you seen that one guy, that's in the streets, I'll tell you this real quick. I was maybe about 2 months before he passed. Heavy in the streets. He got shot and killed, but he came to service with us one Sunday. Smelled like a pound of weed. It didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Come to church with us. You know what I'm saying? God wants you to come here how you are. Because if God clean you, when God clean you up, the world can see what God did. He changed this. But unfortunately, he died, but we knew he was going through something for us, because he called us to want to come to church with us. We didn't call him. He called. Man, Ma, can y'all come get me? I want to go to church with you. Yeah, cool. We'll come by. You know what I'm saying? And that was the last time we seen him alive. It was maybe about 2 months before that. And he sat there and enjoyed himself and had a good time. So I don't know what he went through in that moment. Maybe he had his moment with God. moment. And who knows? Maybe he did enough for God saved him, and he may make it to heaven. I don't know. He only knows what at that moment. You know what I'm saying? God, maybe that's all God needed to see from him, to see where I'm home. So this is our moment to have this last conversation before I bring you. So the ostracized people, when they go through something, to me, is the worst thing you can do. We're right back. We're going to discuss this a little more. Okay, we back here on 95 South TV. I was gonna get into some more other topics.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But this is one of the topics that I think that's been need to be talked about for a long time. You know what I mean? I was gonna get into. I mean, we could switch it up, talk about something else. But I just felt like that was something that needed to be talked about, because I was gonna get into who's the greatest, your top 5 greatest actors and actresses. Like who would you put on your top actresses?
Actresses, Angela Bassett, Felicia Rashad, Julia Roberts, Sandra Bullock, and Viola Davis.
Okay. I probably got pretty much the same. I would say, I think the one, well, I can say you missing, but the one, I always forget her name. I don't know why, but she played in 227. She played in
we're talking about Regina King.
Regina King. Regina King.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's probably up there for me. As far as in the top, definitely in the top 5.
Now, I'm gonna say this. Honorable mention. I do not know her name, but she is the star of the hit TV show called Abbott Elementary.
I know you took black lady.
Yeah, she makes $379,000 a year per episode.
I'm gonna look her name up right now because I know exactly.
I think it's $379,000, $400,000 per episode. But she's a very young actor. She has not been acting that long, and she already has this bag, bro. Like she's. I feel like in the next 20 years, her name is still gonna be being talked about.
Okay, you said okay. You said she's one of the young ones.
Yeah, she's pretty young.
Okay.
That's why I put her on honorable mention.
Oh, you talking about Quinta Brunson?
Yes, Abbott Elementary. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She's definitely. I see what you're talking about. Yeah, she's definitely a good one. And you know what? I'm gonna give them their flowers a little bit, because I don't think sometimes it's a credit, and because people always look at her from the past or whatever, how she got in the game. Well, I'm gonna say J-Lo. J-Lo is a good actor.
A good actress, yeah, of course. Yeah.
J-Lo is a very good actress.
Man, she done made some great movies, man.
Yeah, because the type of role she's in, always have to have. She's always in these physically fit type roles. You know what I'm saying?
Domestic violence type roles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where you got to do a lot of training to be able to fight and do a lot out of her to be in like the movie Enough. Mm-hmm. And then she was in a movie not too long ago, a couple of years ago. I got the name of that one, where she had to. It was kind of the domestic role, or she had to fight a little bit in that one. Yeah. But she's all type of roles, and then it played Selena, so she showed her chops to be able to play something different. Right. So different roles where I think she don't get enough credit for her acting skills. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm gonna say that. So I'm gonna say that her, and well that would probably be you probably name probably who my top 5 are on the female side.
Yeah.
On the male side, of course, I got Denzel, I got Michael B. Jordan, I got Don Cheadle, I got Samuel Jackson, and I got who else I'm gonna say? I'm gonna name somebody different. I actually like uh, what's the guy's name? Go ahead and name yours. I'm trying to think of his.
I got Denzel. I got Sam Jackson. I got Matthew McConaughey. I got Leonardo DiCaprio. And I have Idris Elba. Well, how you pronounce his name?
Idris Elba. Well,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna throw you off on this one. I got Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci.
Well,
like,
I mean, if you like OG type movies and G movies, yeah, you gotta have Joe.
reason why I put Joe Pesci in there, because for one, we always say Robert De Niro, we always say Al Pacino. They good actors, don't get me wrong. But Joe Pesci in the movies, when he's in those movies with them, who steals the show?
Now, I was amazed at Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Huh?
I was amazed that he could flip from those roles to being in Home Alone.
Exactly. So if you but look at my cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
Look at Casino. Look all those movies. He was a star. Like cousin Vinny, he was the star, and nobody stole this shine from him. Old girl was a good sidekick for him. Can't remember her, but she didn't steal the show from him.
Right.
When he was in Goodfellas and Casino, he wasn't the main star. The main focus was Robert De Niro. And he was stole the show. Within Goodfellas, the main character was who was it? Al Pacino, not Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and the head actor. I can't
it depends on what Goodfellas you're talking about. You know what I mean? Because on the first Goodfellas, on some of them you had different actors. You know what I'm saying? You know, just like before that Al Pacino character was born on there, he was the little boy, the dude's son. You know what I mean? And then he became grown.
Okay, you got me confused. It's two Goodfellas?
No, I'm thinking about Godfather. My bad.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm thinking about Godfather.
You know it's crazy. I've never watched The Godfather.
Man, it's so many you need to watch. It's so many of them, man.
I've always told myself I was gonna watch it, but for some reason I've just never really. Godfather, I think, is one of the movies I might really sit down in the house and like.
Man, I mean, I just think Godfather is you know 1 through 4, man. So you definitely got to sit down and eat some food. You know, have some cognac, have a Cuban cigar, and just and just enjoy. You know what I mean?
You said Idris Elba. I've never been a fan of his acting. The only time I thought he was good, I put it like that. He was good in, of course, he was good in The Wire, and he was good on Daddy Little Girls. He was decent, but I've never been a fan. Like I've never seen.
I mean, I think he was good in that movie where when he was trying to kidnap Taraji P. Henson. I think he was good. I forget the name of the movie, and when Gabrielle Union had to fight him off as well. So it's the 3 movies he got good, and man, he was good in the Expendable movie with him, Stallone, and Rock and all them. He was good in that too.
Okay. I never watched Expendable, so I don't know. I just never really. I guess the movies just don't seem believable to me. I'm a bunch of old ass white men being able to fight the world. Just too corny. It was always came off corny to me.
That's why you like Tubi, cause they so hood and they believable.
Yeah, they believable. I don't like unbelievable stuff. Like
I ain't gonna say that I couldn't, because for people who are Green Beret, because that movie was about military cats, Green Berets and assassins and stuff like that, man. So they know some tricks of the trade that the basic American don't know. You know what I mean?
Trust me. When you talk about Green Berets, when you talk about those type of guys, they're not the people that's 110 years old like Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're just telling those young
Man,
guys
he
what.
just played in one of them, bro. He ain't played in all.
Well,
He just played in one of them.
old men, no, I don't believe. No, it ain't believable to me. Like when you talk about Green Berets and you talking about these guys that's part of the
You know, man, I ain't gonna front, man. I know a few dudes that's about 65 years old. I can put money on them. Young boys don't want to see them. They can't touch them.
I'm not saying they're not capable, but what I'm saying in the military, when you get to that level of especially time and age, you're not fighting.
Right, but I understand it. I understand that. I understand what you're saying about that. You're not on the front line like that. So, but I mean, as far as action, I like action. So, as far as the action movie, it was amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about real action, assault rifles and missiles and speed bombs and just like real action movies. You know what I mean?
Well, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back because I'm gonna speak on that before we get out of here. Okay, we back. So that's just like for me, Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal, oh my God. Between him and what's the other guy name that used to be in all those type of movies?
Who you talking about? Jackie Chan or Jet Li? Who you talking about?
No, I'm talking about, was it Clive? Not Clive Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Back in the day, like in the late 80s, early 90s.
Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Who you talking
about? That's what I'm trying to think of his name. But people like that, I just like, y'all not believable. Y'all moving all slow with these slow moves. That's why when I watch like Equalizer, I love Queen Latifah. But you want me to believe Queen Latifah whooping it?
It's a movie. It's a series, Icon. It's entertainment, man.
Stay with the love stories. Stay with the comedies. No, I'm not about to say and believe Queen Latifah can get the leg up that high. I'm not believing this. Nope.
Hey. I would like to say I hope she can. Have mercy, Jesus.
You talk. See, y'all ain't gonna go there. We talking about two different things, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, man. Maybe she got maybe Simone Biles her gymnastic coach. I mean, who knows?
No, you're not Queen Latifah. I love you to death, but no, I'm not believing you in no Equalizer. Just like when they did Equalizer 3 and talking about 4. At this point, Denzel, you too old. Do something. No, we
too old to what? Too old to do what?
We're not going Denzel. You too. First of all, Denzel, you was never known as a fighter in your movies anyway. So we want to keep believing that you doing all this fighting. No, we're not believing this no more, Denzel. Stop this. No, we're not doing this. Now
I can't follow the storyline. If you can follow them two storylines, you can follow this storyline.
I watched all the Equal. I like the first 1 and 2 because a lot of stuff was more mental than anything, than it was a physical thing. So I like that, but I'm not gonna believe that you're 70.
You ain't about to make me believe that Michael B. Jordan can be a superhero in real life. You ain't gonna make me believe that either.
Because
I can't. No, man. He is far too thin to be a superhero, man.
You seen him? Hold on.
He's skinny, man. He's skinny.
No, he's not. You see Michael B. Jordan in Creed? Michael B. Jordan jacked up. He's jacked.
That's thin. Rock is the superhero. That what a superhero look like.
But think about The Rock and Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan can be a superhero with the acting skills. Rock doesn't really know. He's not a good actor. He's just a superhero. He's just more of a superhero type person. He's a decent actor. He's not terrible. You know what I mean? But he's not. I don't think him. I don't look at him and say, "Oh, let me go see this movie."
I kind of like the real superheroes, but I'm an X-Men type guy, so all the other stuff, the new superheroes that they have, I watch it, but what do I think that I'm gonna be a tough critic? Yeah, man, because I like Storm, I like Wolverine, you know what I'm saying? I like people like that, you know what I mean? just because it's a black role playing a superhero, don't mean the acting is great.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, anyway, man, it was a great show. We're going to get out of here because I got to get out of this hotel room.
All right, fam.
But great show, bro. See y'all next week. Y'all have a blessed one.
Peace.
Ice cream, logical.
Brown skin girl, and she knew I was out to go and clear my mind.